Bayang kaawang tata, nausap tayo man lang as isolation units. So, kasta ako, i-design na. Kaya ako lang kami, aglilid niya lang niya. Dahil yung isamis, aglilid niya man lang. So, makas dapat lang, awanti. So, ipatakdal dalatan yan. Ang kabin dalat na diting na. Iti open field. But this time, just as the picture shows, makita yung as lang talaga ng park di tingnan. Wellness, vice president.
Fountain.
Wellness, facility. Katay doon ispa. Tabuk ispa after COVID-19. So, ito yan po. Design na and it costs 25 million. That includes, of course, the facilities inside and, of course, land preparation, septic tanks, individual septic tanks, water and or pipelines, and electricity also. Dapat kang nakatayin din ang kasama and district lights. Okay?
Okay, tama visualize yun. Dito'y treatment facility nga i-discuss ni Mayor. Naka-flash dito screen tayo para kindi gito agbubuya iti live stream tayo iti 103.7 Facebook page kin Tabuk Live page. Naka-flash dito screen nyo itata daytoy nga proyekto or treatment facility nga digitoy screenshots or photos na daytoy nga plano nga maaramid first week of October. Let's continue listening to Mayor.
And I would like also to inform our friends that we have this ongoing 100 bed capacity isolation units to be constructed. I think it's still to be constructed, I should say. This coming week, the construction of the 100 bed city isolation units will start. So the bidding process was just finished last week. So this coming week probably is the implementation of the construction of 100 bed isolation units here in Tabuk City. So the reason why we did not construct before, because the COVID bayanihan grant of 93 million entered the AD. When we had our meeting with the members of the CIATF, we prioritized those items that were included in the ordinance, budget ordinance. That is why the construction of isolation units during that time was not prioritized. Precisely the reason why is that we have to keep our hungry constituents during the enhanced community quarantine period. And since these schools were allowed to be used by the city government before, so awan pala ang iti na ipatakdo iti dili nga ron ipakang tayuan iti towards the use of isolating patients when they do not have something to eat. So the issues ini. But right now we are still being allowed to use these city or these school buildings. But we, just what I've said earlier, we allocated from the savings of the Bayanihan grant to the construction of an isolation unit, 100 bed isolation unit in Barangay Nagbatawag, just beside the evacuation.
Okay, when Mayor was asked if there is a need nga i-widen or i-intensify iti community quarantine protocols dito'y syudad, daytoy tisungbat ni Mayor Darwin Kakailian.
To commend our City Health Office and the other departments of the implementation of our City Health protocols by having no COVID-19 patients for the past 10 days. And probably the reason of this COVID-19 not spreading like a fire every time we have a positive case is because of the good protocol that is being followed by our City Health Office and together with the other departments also. So siguro since we have no cases for the past 10 days and since the province or the city of Tabuk is still under MGCQ, I would, for me, I would recommend that we will still remain with our existing status of MGCQ. So meaning to say all of the health protocols that are being implemented by the city government will still be followed. So since even though we have these no cases for the past 10 days, I think that's not an indication that the city government will not be, again, having positive cases in the future. Probably the reason for this COVID-19 cases was these LSIs coming from other provinces. So we were just very fortunate that for the past 10 days, probably these LSIs and overseas Filipino workers who came from their points of origin were all negative. So it is, there's not a need saying because it's better to be safe than sorry. So we might as well recommend the same health protocols for the coming month or for the coming months.
Daytoy met iti sungbat ni Mayor Darwin panggep jay panaka-utilize iti bayanihan Grant 2. Intayo dinggen jay challenge ni Mayor panggep jay panakausar or panaka-maximize na daytoy nga pondo.
Bayanihan Grant 2, outside is impacted. We have yet to submit the utilization of the Bayanihan Grant 1. So, kung pwede nga, ako na actually, nagpansama din na obligate. So, we have to submit our utilization for this COVID, for this Bayanihan Grant 1 before we can avail of the Bayanihan Grant 2. So, within this week, probably we can also submit our plans for the utilization of the GCM2. But we are not yet certain how much will be given to every municipality or city. So we are just asked to submit our plans. So regardless probably of the amount, but I suggest that we will follow the same amount that we have received during the first grant that was given to every municipality and city, which is 93 million. So gusto ko lang i-emphasize, pag tumingin kayo sa internet, makikita niyo yung container van. Yan. Container van na furnished with CR, one CR only, hindi valor na lang at 250 to 280,000. Just the container van alone. So, try mo na mapandi carousel if you have that apps in your cell phone. You try to browse over that application and you can see that one container van, per this container van, is around 250 to 280,000. So this time we have two CRs, we have septic tanks, individual septic tanks for every container van. So you can just imagine the cost of this isolation unit, every container van. So makita nyo nga ito, mahilig kayo nag-browse kita yung magatang, the carousel, you try to browse that, you just type container van office and you will come to know that one container van is around 250 to 280,000 alone. So how about the land preparation, the landscaping? Hindi kayo pinangitak delta. So di kayo iti-diferensya na. At mahamdaman ng ibaga, sa lakmig na nangyayang kumanan. Prepare ng engineer campus. Engineering. So, diyan ako. I suggest, I challenge you to download the application of Carousel. Common LVLAS na. And you can, after downloading, you can search for the price of container van of for this container van, if how much is the cost. Tapos we have an idea. Iti makasano nga nag-arrive tayo dito.
Okay, sublian tayo ni City Health Officer Dr. Henrietta Bagayao. So attention ka kailyan, dapat nga denggan nyo rito'y aglalaw ti amin nga adabalak na nga agbiyahe paruwar kinpauneg dito'y Tabuk City.
if you would like to be oriented, all Tabukeños entering any checkpoint, example at Malacca, they will be escorted to the holding area, and after they shall be brought to the holding area, will be triage, will be conducted rapid testing, and if it be swab collection, and after which, when they are being swabbed, they can go to their homes for quarantine. Instead, they will be brought to our identified city LGU quarantine facilities away.
Okay, inexplain mat lang ni Doktora Henrietta Bagayaw nukas ano nga i-address iti city government ti mental health situation digitoy kailyan nga naapektaran or na-develop ti mental illness or trauma because of the pandemic situation.
Yes, sir. Actually, it is included in our resiliency plan for COVID-19. That is part of our reintegration program, which is for mental health and psychosocial support system that through the CSWD and the Red Cross and of course our office, we shall be able to provide mental health and psychosocial session support programs to our COVID-19 patients after they shall have been discharged from the TDMF or any isolation facility for the month. Part of it will be to remove the stigma. Kasi, of course, it's the fact that these COVID-19 or confirmed COVID-19 patients are stigmatized when they go back to the barangay of origin. So it will form part of the mental health and psychosocial sessions. These offices, CSWD, Red Cross, and our office will undertake under the residency plan of the city government.
Okay, daytoy met ti sungbat ni Doktora Henny nung masapul pay ba nga ag-quarantine jerumwar nga kailyan tayo nga maan met nga agbayag kin agsublimet pagdagos ditoy Tabuk.
There's no need for them to undergo quarantine if they had their trip 28 and arrived in their place of destination the following day, and at the same time came home and arrived the following day here in Tabuk. There will be no need for them to be quarantined, but we always advise them to observe the minimum health standards so that they will also be safe when they arrive in our city. But if it will be more than a 24-hour stay in the place of their destination, they will be subjected to the regular triaging and health protocols of the city government.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay, sinungbatan met lang ni Doktora Bagayaw no apay nga tamet nga half day lang iti operation iti City Health Office panggap iti panag-release iti medical clearance certificate.
Yes, I would like to answer that. If we realize the purpose of this travel authority, I can just surmise that the government would like to limit the movement of people to places which are considered the red area. So if you can come to the office and look at the data where our kababayan or these Tabukeños go, most of them would go to Tuguegarao, which has many active cases. Yesterday, I was browsing their data, 97 active cases to Tuguegarao. And of course, the very reason why we limit the number, we have only a half day of the release of travel authority is very obvious to limit the movement of Tabukeños coming in and out of our city so that we will be able to prevent the entrance of the COVID-19. If you can just see the reasons or the purpose of their travel, is that so essential. Some are not really essential. So, maawatan tayo napay ng limitar tayo, managitin, nakapday na. Kung limitaran tayo iti movement, iti tao. Nga digili tayo, mag-isakot, iti COVID-19.
Okay, winarningan namet lang kita tao panggap ti dakkel nga posibilidad nga mari-infect manen iti COVID-19 survivor.
In addition to my answer to your second question earlier regarding the vaccine. Okay, I would like to inform everyone that we already had 2 cases of reinfection. So meaning to say, if you had your bout of first COVID-19 infection, it's not an assurance that you will not get again another bout of COVID-19 because you already had 2 cases. One ENT, twice admitted at TNF, and another one who came from Baguio who was admitted at the Prime Hospital, arrived RCT, and again turned out to be COVID-19 positive. So, langing legas na di complacent that if we were tagged as recovered, handa yung COVID ba nun. So there's a possibility, there's a chance that we can again have a second bout. So there's this emphasis of the minimum observance of the minimum health standards of the face mask, the social distancing, and regular ventilation.
Siguro,
Sinigundaan namet lang ni City Mayor Darwin Estranero panggap iti panakatakder iti additional isolation unit kinjay reintegration iti treatment facility and support to our medical frontliners.
Facility from the Department of Health and accredited by the PhilHealth. This is being emulated now by other municipalities and asking us, our office, what were the documents that we did. I told them to yourself. And of course, treatment, we have the city government had asked the services of the medical doctor who is assigned solely for our temporary treatment and monitoring facility and for our quarantine facility with all the medicines and vitamins and other needs. And lastly, for the reintegration, that is the new part that we are going to improve. Aside, of course, from the reintegration activities that we did, the city government has provided 2,000 pesos for all LSIs and ROF who came to our city to defray the cost of their traveling expenses. And ako, nagpatakol si Tabuk City nga mabalbalikod sa kopyaon kasi munisipyo kami magbaga ang kopyaon ni Sigud sa Kasalukan.
Okay, that is Dr. Henrietta Bagayao, the City Health Officer iti Tabuk City. Let's go now to Public Employment Services Office Manager Ma'am Loida Saboy. In-explain na met no kas ano kinsino iti maka-avail ti programa nga tupad or tulong panghanap buhay para sa displaced and disadvantaged workers. Kaya't nga ipaammo nga daytoy ket locally funded program or solely funded by the city government.
The PEP or PAT program under the PESO is a locally funded program. It is not a fund from the Department of Labor. We have actually previous programs funded by the government, but this time it is solely funded by the city government. So we have realigned our unutilized funds for programs that were no longer be implemented because they involve money gatherings. So we have realigned them and implemented them for this PEP program or Community Employment Program for LSI and ROS.
How much cash assistance for each
this entails a 10 workday program, and they will be paid for 350 per day. That is the minimum wage for the city. They will be working, doing sanitation inside their own homes. They will not be going anywhere or outside their residence. They will be working within their residence, and they will just be providing us pictures, documentations for a period of 10 days, and they will be paid 3,500 for that.
Like the last question lang. So the application is closed na po for this?
No, it's ongoing. And this is actually open. We have started last week validating and accepting applications. Our initial list for our beneficiaries came from the list of those that were not given assistance from the financial assistance from the city government. Yung mga hindi naka-avail po, sila yung priority. Well, displaced workers and displaced overseas workers.
May mga documentary requirements na pinag-apply for employee
For displaced workers, of course, they will just provide us their employment ID for their previous employment, whether they are LSIs or ROFs. And then for LSIs, represented nila yung quarantine certificate nila from the CHO. That will serve room na talagang LSI sila, and they have undergone quarantine from our isolation unit in Manawag. And then for ROFs, also of course their passports showing their latest date of arrival in the Philippines, and then yung employment contract nila for weekend base na talaga sila displaced workers sila from overseas. And then yung meron letter or certificate from their previous employer na they were displaced due to this COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, just to reiterate and just to be clear ha, nung interesado ka kailyan nga ag-apply, ongoing pa lang dito nga programa nga tupad iti city government. Again, all you have to bring is or to present is employment ID para kindigay displaced workers kindi to'y quarantine certificate from City Health Office para mat kindigay locally stranded individuals. Mabalin ka nga makaala ti 350 per day for 10 days or 3,500 pesos all in all. Tinulungan mat ni Mayor Darwin C. Estraniero ni Peso Manager Lloyd Asaboy nga sinumbatan iti damag nga noan niya titulong nga maited iti syudad panggap ti small businesses, especially digitoy agrugrugi pay lang nga gapu iti epekto iti pandemya ket marigrigatan nga bumangon.
2021, we're planning to, of course, not necessarily to condone, but I think to reduce their taxes and the business permits. So we are planning to do that, so that in one way or the other, we will be helping these small businesses that we have in our city, considering that during the COVID-19 ECQ up to this MGCQ, these businesses are affected. So we plan to do that by reducing also their business permits this coming 2021. So that for that time, that's the only thing that we can do. But if there will be suggestions later on what these small businesses will ask us to do, then probably we will also consider their suggestions if they have something in mind. So right now, the only thing that we can do is just what I have said earlier, is coming 2021. So far.
In addition to that, if you remember, during the onset of this pandemic,
there was this cash assistance measure program under the Department of Labor and Employment. And actually, it was Tabuk who availed of the most number of beneficiaries. I think there were 2,000 plus applicants, and these were the wage earners in the formal sectors, like for example, Golden Berries. I think they were able to enroll also their workers under the camp, and they were given 5,000 financial assistance. So these were the affected workers in the formal sectors. So yung sa mga small entrepreneurs. And also, I think DTI has also the same program with our small entrepreneurs with their livelihood negotiation kit. They have already awarded some for Tabuk and even other municipalities. And also, with our program under Ditupad or Ditupad Makabuhayan for our displaced workers, they are given priority. Those who were not able to avail of the 5,000 from the camp or of the Dole, they will be prioritized under.
Okay. Sinumbatan ni Mayor Darwin C. Estranero, City Disaster Risk Reduction Management Officer Chief Christian T. Loyaben, and Public Order and Safety Office Chief Engineer Dionisio Fagi III, daytoy damag panggap iti panag-adu ti vehicular accident idi nag-modified general community quarantine daytoy nga syudad, daytoy ti Imbagada apo.
Question is directed towards Sir Chamba, Sir Dolly. Sir Dolly ko, di nag-ECQ tayo, di ba, kakapansin nga nakita na ako kung disgrasya, tapos sa ECQ, grabe nga nag-spike di command, di accidents. So, di ngayon ko na tawagin ka, are there steps being taken but no di one by one in the staff?
Actually, we're planning with PNP to conduct many checkpoints, right? That the vehicular traffic accident, moving
Wala akong
motorcycle,
signal, hindi ako makakalit sa
mostly nakainom na.
yung pinapapost nila.
Plano itatan, jadi ngawit government. Kalau kita may isip mag-plus, natulungan kita naman. So, sinabi dito.
And for the EC dream, we also noticed that during the ECQ, we recorded almost zero vehicular accidents. But just upon the lifting of the ECQ at the Kadagus, lamang kagatil na accelerator na dito. Even though naman daw tayo not as many as the accidents before this COVID. And while the POSO is more on the preventive measures to address this problem, we at the city are more of a reactive unit. We are more of a rescue unit. So we wait for the emergency call. Hindi at napasamak, then we react. We respond.
Okay, inlawag damat lang dito'y executive order issued by President Rodrigo Duterte nga panagparit iti panagpasyar ijay Camposanto from October 29, 2020 to November 4, 2020.
I think everyone is not allowed to go to private or public cemeteries on October 29, 2020 to November 4, 2020. Definitely all public cemeteries we're going to deploy men from the POSO and also ask the help from the Philippine National Police. At no mapantayan talaga ito yung public cemeteries tayo. At no mapan to comply with the order of the President Duterte. But other than those dates specified in the executive order, of course, everyone is also allowed to go to these cemeteries, not except of course for the dates that were mentioned in the executive order of the President. So we will strictly implement the order from the President.
Okay, sakbay nga malpas ti daytoy nga 2020 quarterly press conference of Tabuk City ni City Information Officer Ma'am Aurora Amilig. Challenge everyone, especially digito'y kakadwa tayo dito'y media, through a question. How do you want to be known, kunana? Dinggan tayo dito'y closing statement ni City Information Officer Ma'am Aurora Amilig.
So, the public is meant to believe everything they're told and not question it. So, with it being so easy to assert an opinion after a few taps, it can lead to investigations and front page headlines. It can influence the way people are viewed, and people's careers and even their lives can change within a flash. So we have to be very, very careful as media personalities. With all this happening, it's now up to media to know what kind of change one wants to see or happen to people, to organization, or to even our society or to our city. Sometimes I wonder if media personality even understand that media is actually the sword arm of democracy. Its role is to act as a watchdog to protect public interest against malpractice and other problems in government and society, and create public awareness. So it's always said that media is the voice of our society, but then what are we saying really to society? With this vital role we hold in society, I hope and pray that we make sure what we put out there is true, is factual. For every article we write, every news we cover, every tweet we share, we have to bear in mind that they should be coupled with accountability on our part. That as we influence people, we must be responsible for what we say on social media or other media. At first, I found it funny when I read a quote which said, "For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, plus a social media overreaction." Natawa ko dun eh. But then I realized it is actually happening. There is social media overreaction. There is more hype than real news, more opinions and half-truths than facts being dished out in social media these days, especially in Tabuk. Social media should be a medium to improve lives, and it has become part of the daily grind of people's existence. In the City Information Office, we endeavor to present the facts in our reporting, in our articles. We owe this to the people of Tabuk City. We want to be known as a source of genuine news and also a media outlet that will showcase not only the events happening in our city but the lives of our people and the greatness of Tabukeños. Before I end, I challenge each of us not to lose track of our purpose as media personalities. Everything we post on social media impacts our personal brand. So, my question is, how do we want to be known as media personalities? I leave this question for us all to ponder. Actually, even for our panelists, how do you want to be known? Once again, before I end, I would just like to thank everybody, and thank you all for coming and for making this event a very fulfilling one.
Okay, nadingigyo apo iti audio summary na dito yung 2020 quarterly press conference of Tabuk City. So before we end the program, kaya't ko pa man nga pasalamatan, digito'y panelist tayo, ipang pangruna of course ni City Mayor Engineer Darwin C. Estraniero, Doktora Henrietta S. Bagayao, our City Health Officer, Sir Christian T. Luyaben, the C-Dream Chief, Sir Dionisio Falgi III, Poso Chief, and of course, last but not the least, Ma'am Loida B. Saboy, iti Peso Manager. Okay, time check, it's already 1:02 in the afternoon. Tiempo manen, iti nga pong makada kami. This has been Rain Sarol, the Supervisor Administrative Officer, iti City Information Office. Maawis kayo manen nga dumngeg next week dito'y 103.7 Radyo Natin, your friend, your radio, para iti programa magandang tanghali, Mayor. God bless you all, kailyan, na imbag nga malam.
Magandang tanghali, Mayor. Programa ng Tabuk City Local Government Unit dahil karapatan ng bawat mamamayan